I don't even know how to start, I muttered, tapping my pen against the page. Dear diary. That sounds stupid. I stared at the notebook, blank, mocking. You said it doesn't have to sound poetic, right? I asked. Mrs. Hill nodded. From her chair across the room, just be honest with yourself. So, I wrote, I miss her. More than I can say out loud. The ink bled a little at the edges, my fingers trembled. That night, I sat on my bed, staring at the ceiling fan spinning. The notebook was under my pillow. My mom used to tell me, write it down, feel it less. So I did. Every day since the funeral, grief, anger, loneliness, even about Theo and Donnie. Everything. You've been quiet lately, Theo said over dinner, pushing his fork through the pasta. You okay? I smiled. Yeah, just tired. He watched me for a second too long. You wrote that exact thing last week in your journal. My stomach dropped. What? He blinked. I mean, you always say that when you're overwhelmed. Tired. I forced a laugh. Yeah, I guess I do. But that night, I tore through my room like a storm. Diary still under the pillow, unread, or so I thought. Maybe I'm being paranoid. I told Donnie at lunch. It's just weird. She took a bite of her sandwich and shrugged. Theo's probably just in sync with you. You guys have been together, what, 2 years? Almost 3. I said, there you go. He just knows your patterns. Yeah. I mumbled, but something about her tone made my skin crawl. Still. Look, she said, brushing crumbs off her lap, you're going through a lot. It's totally normal to feel exposed. Writing that stuff down, it makes you feel raw. Have you ever read someone's diary? Her eyes widened. What? No, that's gross. Why? I bit the inside of my cheek, just wondering. She leaned closer. You think someone's reading yours? I nodded slowly. She lowered her voice. You lock it. No. Then maybe you should, just in case. That night, I wrote, if you're reading this, I'll know. It was dumb, but it made me feel a little less crazy. Mom would have loved the weather today, Mira said without looking at me. I glanced at her. Yeah. She always hated cold Decembers. I nodded, waiting for warmth that didn't come. You still seeing that therapist? Yes. Still writing? Yes. She raised an eyebrow. You always were the dramatic one. I clenched my jaw. I'm coping, sure, she muttered. Just don't make yourself the victim again. I shoved my diary into my backpack, heart pounding. Why did that feel like a warning? Next day, Theo texted, you okay? I know it's hard to cope without your mom, especially in December. My throat tightened. That's what I wrote last night. Exactly. I called him. Hey, he said, casual to casual. Did you read my diary? He paused. What? My diary? Did you? No, he said quickly. Why would I? Because you just quoted something I wrote last night. He laughed. Are you serious? That's just coincidence. It's not the first time. You think I'd go through your stuff? What kind of boyfriend do you think I am? I swallowed. I don't know anymore. He hung up. I stormed into Donnie's room. I need to ask you something. And I need you to be honest. She looked up from her phone. Okay? Have you ever read my diary? What? No. Why would I don't know. Maybe you thought it would help. She stood. What's going on? Just things keep happening. Words I've only written showing up in conversations and texts. You think it's me? Her voice cracked. Seriously? I froze. I don't know who to trust. Well, it's not me. I'm your best friend. If someone's betraying you, it isn't me. I believed her. Or I wanted to, that night. I held the diary in my lap, heart thudding. Was I losing my mind? Or was someone reading the parts of me I never meant to share? I wrote one last line. If you're reading this again, I'll find out. You wanted to talk? Theo stood by the park bench, hands stuffed in his jacket pockets. Yeah, I said, trying to steady my breath. I thought maybe we could clear the air. He looked past me. Toward the lake, there's not much to clear. My fingers tightened around the strap of my bag. Then say it. He exhaled slowly. You're drowning in your emotions. You write them down instead of facing them. You spiral. You always spiral. My jaw clenched. What did you just say? You spiral? He repeated. You bottle everything. Write it in that diary of yours, then expect me to read your mind. I froze, my vision blurred for a second. You said that word for word, I whispered. What? That's what I wrote. Last week, those exact words. Theo blinked. I don't know what your stop. My voice cracked. Just stop lying. He stepped back. I'm not lying. You said stuff like that before. No. Theo, not like that. Not those exact lines. You're quoting my journal. His mouth opened and closed. I didn't read your diary. Then how do you know what I wrote? I just maybe I guessed. You always act like a victim. Like the world's against you. Because it is, I snapped. Because people I trust keep stabbing me in the back. He didn't flinch. He just shook his head slowly. I'm done, okay? He said quietly. This relationship, it's too much. It's exhausting. My heart dropped. You're breaking up with me. I need space. No. You need a conscience. He turned and walked away without another word. I sat on Donnie's couch, gripping a mug I couldn't drink from. My fingers were trembling too much. He just walked away, she asked, pulling the blanket tighter around my shoulders. Yeah, I said, voice hollow, just like that. I'm so sorry. I wiped my nose. He said I spiral. That I expect him to read my mind. But I never said those things to him, only wrote them. Donnie bit her lip. Maybe he's been feeling that way for a while. No, I said sharply. He's quoting my diary. I'm not crazy, she hesitated. Well, maybe he found it accidentally. Don't, I warned. Don't defend him. I'm not, she leaned closer. You sure you didn't talk about it out loud? Even with me, I stared at her. Her voice was calmed. Practiced. You're being awfully understanding, I said. I'm your best friend, yeah. I muttered. You are. Let's talk about Theo, Mrs. Hill said. Pen resting between her fingers, I leaned back on the couch. He broke up with me. How did that make you feel? Like I lost something I never really had? She tilted her head. Explain that. I thought he loved me. I thought we were a team. But he used my own words against me, words I wrote in private. Did he admit to reading your diary? No. But he didn't deny it either. And what do you believe? I met her eyes. I believe someone's been reading my journal. I don't know if it's Theo, or Donnie, or Mira, but someone's in my head. Mrs. Hill didn't react. Just scribbled something on her notepad. You think I'm paranoid? I think your trust has been shaken, she said calmly. That doesn't make you paranoid. I looked at my hands. Then why does it feel like I'm falling apart? Because you are, she said. But that doesn't mean you're breaking. Donnie texted later that night. Want to come over to ice cream plus trash TV? I stared at the screen for a long time. Then I typed, not tonight, and put my phone face down. I opened my diary. My pen hovered over the page. He said I spiral. He said I expect too much. He said things I never told him. I don't know who to trust anymore. But I will find out who's been reading this. And if it was Donnie? I wasn't sure what would hurt more, losing Theo, or realizing I never had a best friend to begin with. Close the door behind you, Mr. Lennox said without looking up. My stomach nodded. I pushed the glass door shut and stepped inside his office. Take a seat. I sat down slowly. Did something happen? He finally looked up, folding his hands on the desk. You tell me. Are you planning to resign? What? No. Why would I? You've been telling people you feel unqualified for your position. That you think you were a diversity hire. My chest tightened. I never said that to anyone. Then how did it get out? I shook my head. I wrote that. But only in my journal. I never said it out loud. His expression didn't change. We can't afford internal insecurity leaking into project meetings. This team depends on confidence, I swear. I never said it. Someone must have. Who would have had access to something so personal? I swallowed. I don't know. Mr. Lennox sighed. Take the rest of the week off. Paid suspension. We'll revisit Monday. You're suspending me for your sake. Collect yourself. I stood slowly, blinking hard. I didn't do anything wrong. Sometimes silence can be louder than words, Miss Morgan. I don't understand, I said, pacing across Donnie's kitchen. I never said anything. How did he know? Okay, slow down, she said, holding up her hands. Start over. What exactly did he say? That people at work are saying I feel unqualified. That I don't belong, Donnie frowned. And you've never said anything like that out loud, no. I only wrote it in your diary, yes. She looked at me for a moment. Maybe someone overheard you talking? Or maybe Mr. Lennox is just assuming things. No, I said. He quoted me word for word. It wasn't guessing. You think someone copied it from your journal? I don't know how else to explain it. Well, who would do that? I stared at her. She blinked. Wait, you think it's me? I didn't say that. You didn't have to. I don't know what to think anymore. Donnie, her voice dropped. We've been best friends for years. I know. Then trust me. You've always been dramatic, Mira said, stirring her tea. You can't just handle something privately. It always becomes a meltdown. I crossed my arms. I got suspended, Mira, suspended because of a rumor that came from my private journal. You sure it didn't come from your own mouth? Yes, she shrugged. Maybe you talk in your sleep. I didn't laugh. Or maybe you do need help. I stared at her. That's what this is about, isn't it? Making me look unstable. Mira's gaze was calm. You're doing that on your own. I pushed my chair back. I'm not crazy. She sipped her tea, then stopped acting like it. Back in my room, I ripped open the drawer, pulled the diary out, and flipped to the page. I feel like I don't belong there. Maybe they just needed a black woman on paper. I closed the book and pressed it to my chest. Who are you? I whispered. Who's doing this to me? Later that night, Donnie messaged me. Hey, just checking in. Want to come over? I got chocolate and a new show to distract you. I didn't answer. Mrs. Hill looked at me across the dim office. Tell me what you're feeling right now, violated. I said. Like I'm being stripped down from the inside out. You feel exposed. Yes, my private thoughts are being used against me. At work, in my relationship, everywhere. What would it take for you to feel safe again? A log. A wall. The truth. Mrs. Hill nodded slowly. Then maybe it's time to stop writing and start watching. I looked up. Watching. People. Their words, their timing, their patterns. Whoever is doing this isn't invisible. I didn't write that night. I just sat on my bed, diary unopened, staring at the door. And for the first time, I wish it was locked. I stared at the open page, thinking about moving. Europe, maybe, London. Start over where no one knows me. Total lie. I shut the diary, slipped it back under my pillow, and waited. 3 days later, my phone buzzed. Theo. So you're leaving? I dropped my spoon. I didn't reply. I didn't breathe. Instead, I called him. You're moving. He answered instantly. When were you going to tell me? I forced my voice to stay calm. Who told you I was leaving? You did, I mean. You didn't say it out loud. But I figured it out. How? He hesitated. I just picked up on things. No. Theo. You didn't. I made that up. It's not true. I only wrote it in one place, okay? He said slowly. You're freaking me out. I lowered my voice. You read it, didn't you? I didn't touch your diary. Then who did? He didn't answer. I stood in Donnie's doorway, arms crossed. Did you tell Theo I'm moving? Her brow furrowed. What? No. Why would I say that? He texted me. Asked if I was leaving. That's not something I told anyone. Then how would I know? That's what I'm asking you. She rolled her eyes. You think I'm spying on you again? I planted a fake entry, just to see. She blinked. You what? I lied in my diary. And Theo quoted it back to me. Donnie leaned against the wall. Maybe he guessed. Donnie, she shrugged. Okay, that's weird. But what, you think I'm sneaking into your room like some psycho? I think someone is, not me, she said, laughing nervously. Jesus, do you even hear yourself? I do. For once, I actually do. That night, I didn't sleep. I sat in the dark, waiting. At 1:03 a.m., my door creaked. I held my breath, soft steps. A shadow near my desk, then the click of my drawer. Sliding open. My heart thudded. I moved, slow and silent, to the hallway. The light from my phone caught a glimpse of her face. Donnie. Standing over my diary, turning the pages like she owned them. I didn't say a word. I just watched. The next morning, she acted normal. Want to grab coffee before work? She asked, flipping her hair into a ponytail. No thanks, I said, zipping my bag. She smiled. You okay? I'm great. I lied, actually. I slept really well. That's good. She looked me up and down. You seem more calm today. I am, I said, smiling back. Everything's becoming clear. At lunch, I sat across from Mrs. Hill. She was in my room. I whispered. Middle of the night, reading it. Mrs. Hill didn't blink, and she didn't see you, no. I watched her. What did you feel in that moment? Cold, numb, angry? Did you confront her? Not yet. Why not? Because I want to know why first. Double quotes. Mrs. Hill nodded. Be careful. This isn't just about broken trust anymore. I nodded. It's war. That evening, I moved my diary into a lockbox and slid it under my bed. Then I sat at my desk and opened a new notebook. She read the lie. She believed it. That means every leak came from her. My best friend isn't my friend at all. And for the first time in weeks, I smiled. I saw you, I said, blocking the doorway to her room. Last night. In my room, reading it. Donnie didn't even flinch. You left it unlocked. That's not an excuse. She tossed her phone onto the bed. I don't need one. You lied to me, she shrugged. Technically, I never said I didn't read it. I just let you believe what you wanted. Why? My voice cracked. Why would you do that? Because it was easy. I blinked. What? You were always so easy, you know? You wrote everything down. Like some tragic little poet begging to be understood. You were my best friend, she snorted. No. I was Mira's best friend. You were the project. I felt like I'd been slapped. You've been feeding her my thoughts, among others. Theo was part of it too. Though he doesn't like to admit it. He thought you needed guidance. That you were spiraling. And you agreed. Oh. I didn't just agree, she said, sitting on the edge of her bed. I enjoyed it. My throat burned. What the hell is wrong with you? You act like you're better than us, like you're deeper, smarter, more sensitive. You walk into a room and suck the air out, expecting everyone to understand your pain. I stared at her in disbelief. So this was revenge for what? Me existing? She tilted her head. You needed to be broken. Tears blurred my vision. Why would Mira do this? She never forgave you for what happened to your mom. Thought you were milking it. Thought you'd crack eventually. And you just went along with it. I helped, she said proudly. I kept her updated, word for word. You betrayed me. No, she said coldly. I exposed you. I stepped back. You read my grief. My nightmares, my trauma. And you handed it out like gossip. She stood up. You wrote it. I just shared it. I trusted you. I whispered. She smirked. That was your first mistake. I clenched my fists. You're sick and you're dramatic. Still writing about your feelings while the rest of us actually live. I stared at her, my voice shaking. You don't get to define me. I already did, she said, brushing past me toward the door. And no one questioned it. I grabbed her arm. We're not done. She yanked away. Yes, we are. You wanted the truth. There it is. You were never my friend. You were an assignment. And now? She turned, her face blank. Now. You're boring. Then she walked away. I sank to the floor. My ears rang. My chest hurt. Boring. That was the part that stung most. Later, I texted Mira. We need to talk. You, me. No games. She replied in seconds. Tomorrow. Noon. Be ready. I stared at the screen. If Donnie was a weapon, Mira was a hand holding it. And now? I wasn't going to run anymore. I was going to fight. Mira opened the door like she'd been waiting for me. Come in, she said coolly. Let's not drag this out. I stepped into the house, our mother's house. Her perfume still lingered faintly in the hallway, but the warmth was gone. I know everything, I said. Donnie told me. She didn't flinch. Then I guess we can skip the dramatics. You used her and Theo. You planned this. I didn't use anyone, she said, walking to the kitchen. I gave them a purpose. I followed to break me. She poured herself a glass of water. You were already breaking. I just sped up the process. Why? She turned. Because you're not stable. You haven't been since Mom died. I was grieving. No. You were unraveling. Writing those sad little diary entries like the world owed you something. That journal was private. You left it out like an open invitation. I stared at her. So the plan was what? Push me over the edge, make me lose it. Mira leaned against the counter. I needed the house. You were in the way. If you lost your job, your boyfriend, your grip on reality, the courts would hand it over without a fight. You wanted to declare me unfit. It would have been cleaner than dragging out probate. For months, my voice trembled. You planned my breakdown like a legal strategy. She didn't deny it. You weren't supposed to survive, she said softly. But I'll give you credit, you're still here. My hands curled into fists. Why not just ask me for the house? Because I knew you'd say yes, she snapped. And I couldn't stand the idea of you being the bigger person again. So this was about ego. This was about reality, she said. You always lived in your head. You needed to be forced into the real world. I shook my head. You think destroying me made you stronger? I didn't destroy you, she said. Life did. I just held up the mirror. No, I said. You lit the fire and watched it burn. She stepped closer. You're still breathing. That should count for something. Not breathing, I said. Fighting. She raised an eyebrow. And what exactly are you planning to do? I smiled. Oh, you'll see, outside. The sun hit my face like a warning. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I didn't write in my diary. I just walked away alive and angry. You kept all of it, Collie asked, eyes wide as I scrolled through the folders, every text, every voice note, screenshots, emails, even old diary pages I scanned years ago. Damn. She whispered. You were paranoid early. No, I said. I just knew one day I'd need the truth. She leaned over my shoulder. Okay? So how do you want to do this? Anonymously. No names, no faces, just truth. She tapped a few keys. We'll use a VPN. Reroute everything. Scramble. Your voice. Perfect. I clicked open a file and old email from Mira. Let her fall apart. The quieter she is, the faster we win. Collie's face tightened. She really said that. Yep. I opened another. Theo. She won't last without me. Watch her crack, she hissed. These people are demons, I nodded. And I've been their entertainment. Not anymore. Later that night, I sat at my desk. Mick in front of me, heart racing. Collie adjusted the voice modulator. Ready? I took a breath. As I'll ever be. She hit record. My name doesn't matter. But my story does, I said slowly. This is for anyone who's ever been gaslighted, manipulated, or betrayed by the people who claim to love them. I paused, fingers trembling. I kept receipts and now I'm using them. Click.upload. Next morning, Collie texted 800 views overnight. By noon, it was 12K. By dinner, 50K. Comment after comment. Who are these monsters? This is giving major girl. Interrupted energy. Expose them all. You're going viral, Collie said, grinning across the table. Like, real viral. I smiled. Good? You sure you're okay? I feel steady, focused. She lowered her voice. Are you scared? I thought for a moment. No, they should be. Another post, screenshots of Mira's emails. Her voice blurred and twisted. She never deserved the house. She never deserved Mom's care. She was always a weak link, followed by Theo's text, "Sometimes I wish she'd just vanish." For good, I attached no names. But they knew. Theo called twice, I declined both. Then a text. "What are you doing?" I replied, "Letting the world hear what you did." 2 days later. Donnie messaged me. "So you want to play victim now? You think this makes you strong?" I replied, "No, this makes me honest. That's something you never were." She didn't respond. Collie handed me a flash drive. Backup of everything, just in case you think they'll come after me. They already did. This is just you fighting back. That night, I recorded another entry. This one's about childhood. I said into the mic, "When your sister laughs at your tears. When your friend dares you to say goodbye to your mom in a locked casket. And then jokes about how you look doing it." Pause, deep breath. That stuff sticks. That pain becomes paper. And one day, paper becomes power. Double quotes, click. Upload. Then I whispered to myself, "Let the world hear what you did to me." And I hit publish. Again. And again and again. "Is this you?" Someone commented under my latest post, attaching a screenshot of Mira's charity gala speech. From last year, her fake smile plastered across the stage. I scrolled down. Isn't this the same woman who emotionally abused her sister for inheritance? How many masks does one person need? She said family mattered. Turns out, money mattered more. My inbox flooded. "Thank you for sharing your story. Your words made me feel less alone. I thought I was crazy. You helped me realize I'm not." I replied to every message. "You're helping people," Collie said, spinning in her chair beside me. "I didn't mean to," I admitted. "I just wanted to scream into the void." Sometimes the void screams back in agreement. By Thursday, Mira's latest social media post had 4,000 comments. Not one of them was kind. Donnie's name trended next. A thread. "This is a girl who read her best friend's diary and leaked it for sport." Someone posted her company bio. Then the update. Her firm just removed her profile. Good. I stared at the screen, heart pounding. She messaged me 2 minutes later. "What did you do?" I replied, "Truth happened. You're ruining lives." I typed, "You ruined trust." That's worse. She didn't respond again. Theo's text came that night. "Can we talk? Please, you're right. I was awful." But I didn't know how deep it went. I didn't think. I smiled as I read each word. Then I sent back, "I thought I was losing my mind." "You made sure of it." He replied instantly, "I didn't mean to hurt you." "Then why did you?" "Because Mira said you needed to be humbled." I believed her. "I'm sorry." I stared at the blinking dots. Then I wrote, "Keep your apology. I'm finally standing." "I don't need your hands." At work, Mr. Lennox approached me. "You've had a rough few weeks," he said quietly. "But I watched the videos. All of them." I waited. "You were telling the truth." I nodded once. "You're back on the team," he said. "No questions asked." I exhaled. Outside, I sat on the bench where Theo once broke my heart. Collie joined me, handing over a hot drink. Mira still quiet. "Not a word," I said. "Good. She'll come crawling eventually, and I won't be home." Collie grinned. "That's what healing sounds like." I looked at the tree swaying above us. She tried to make me look insane. Collie nodded. "Now she's the one unraveling." I smiled. "Funny how that works." A new message pinged on my blog. "My sister stole from me. Gaslight me. I thought I was alone. Your story saved me." "Thank you." I replied. "You're not crazy. They just couldn't handle your truth." The knock came just after sunset. I knew it was him before I looked. I opened the door halfway. Theo stood there, red-eyed, hoodie soaked to the collar like he'd walked through a storm. "I need to talk," he said. I didn't move. I didn't know it would go that far. He whispered, I thought Mira just wanted to check on you. I didn't know she was trying to ruin you. You helped her." "I didn't mean to." His voice cracked. I didn't know how twisted it was. "You read my diary." He nodded, eyes down. I told myself it was to help. I thought if I knew what you were feeling, I could say the right things. But then, Donnie said you'd never really changed, that you needed tough love, and you agreed. He looked up, tears shining. "I still love you." My breath hitched. "I never stopped." He said, stepping closer. "I made the worst mistake of my life. But I'm here now. I'm trying." I opened the door wider. He smiled, and I shut it hard. The message came 10 minutes later. "Donnie. Why?" I stared at the word. "Why? Why did you betray me? Why did you smile in my face while feeding them every word I bled into a page? Why did you act like my pain was entertainment?" I left it on read. The next day, I met Mira. Same cafe where we had lunch after Mom's funeral. She was already sitting when I walked in. Black sunglasses still on, indoors like she was hiding. "You look well," she said. "I am." She folded her hands. "People are talking." "I know. You made me look like a monster. You did that yourself." She leaned forward. "What do you want?" "Nothing. You dragged our family through the mud for nothing." I Tilted my head. You're not family. She flinched. I slid my phone across the table. This is the last backup. All the audio, emails, diary scans, everything. What are you? I'm deleting it. She stared at me. You're letting me off the hook. No, I said. I'm freeing myself from what? You. She gripped the edge. At the table. You want forgiveness? I stood up. You don't get forgiveness, I said softly. Just silence. Outside, I dropped the phone in my bag and kept walking. She didn't follow, didn't call, didn't scream my name down the street like in the movies. She just disappeared behind glass and pride. Good. Let her stay there. Collie met me to blocks. Away, was it worth it? I nodded, yeah. Closure doesn't always come clean. Sometimes it comes with ash. She handed me a coffee. You know what I love. What? You didn't let them break you. They cracked the surface, but you rebuilt it sharper. I smiled. They wanted you to lose everything. She added. I did, I said. But I found myself in the wreckage. I stood on the back porch, lighter in one hand, my old diary in the other. Collie watched from the steps. You sure? I nodded. I've read these pages too many times. It's time they stopped defining me. Want me to say something dramatic? Like ashes to freedom, I laughed. Just to be here. She stayed quiet. I opened the book, worn edges, smudged ink, tear-stained pages. Every entry felt like a bruise I kept poking. Goodbye, I whispered. Then I struck the flame. The first page curled, then the next. Flames danced up the spine like it wanted to leave too. I didn't flinch. Collie whispered. Feels like a funeral. No, I said. A rebirth. The next morning, I sat at my kitchen table, pen in hand, blank paper in front of me. I stared at it. Then put the pen down. I don't need this anymore. I said out loud. I got up, poured coffee, opened the windows, let the air in. Later, I called Mrs. Hill. She picked up instantly. I was just thinking about you. I'm not writing anymore, I said. She paused. Why not? Because my story doesn't belong in a book. It belongs in how I live. She sounded pleased. Tell me more. I start work again next week. I signed up for a pottery class. I called my aunt in Toronto. I even asked Collie if she wants to take a weekend trip. She chuckled. That's a lot of healing. I'm not healed, I said. But I'm moving. That's something at the art studio. I smeared wet clay across my apron and smiled. Collie nudged me. You're actually kind of good at this. Don't lie. I'm serious, she said, examining my wobbly bowl. It's got character, I laughed. That's what people say when it's ugly but heartfelt. Well, heartfelt is better than hollow. I looked at the spinning wheel. So true. Later that night, I sat on the balcony. Breeze in my hair, city lights blinking like stars. With anxiety, I spoke softly, not to anyone, just to the air. I'm not her anymore. I thought back to the girl who clung to secrets like lifeboats. Who thought being quiet meant being safe. Who trusted the wrong people and blamed herself for it. I'm not her. Theo texted again. Still thinking about you? I typed. I'm not a thought anymore. I'm a whole person. Goodbye. Block. Donnie's single quotes as profile vanished from my followers. Maybe she got the hint. Maybe she couldn't take the heat. Either way, she was gone. Mira hadn't reached out since the CAFE acute. Good. Silence was the only apology I'd ever accept. Collie handed me a notebook one morning. New diary, I teased, blank pages. In case the story ever gets too loud again, I smiled. Thanks. But I think I'll write differently now. She tilted her head. How? I tapped my chest. Here. In how I show up, in how I say no. In how I walk into rooms without shrinking. You're dramatic, you know that. Only when it matters. I'm not the girl they tried to break. I'm the woman who stepped out of the fire and didn't ask for a rescue. And this time the story is mine to tell. Not with pages. With power.